Alright guys, with this particular haircut, you want to make sure the top part is separated from the bottom part. So it's going to take some combing through, making sure those two parts are separate, because you're going to do the side part before you do the top with this comb over. So we're going to start out with the mid fade, starting from the middle of the head and balding him out. With the mid fade, I do kind of drop it in the back, not as far as a drop fade, but I do like the look of it being dropped a little bit in the back. So we're just going to bald him out really nicely with those outliners, making sure that there's no hair in the back of the ears. That's an important part, because I know when I was little and I used to get haircuts from barbers, there used to be some hair left behind my ears. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. So bald them out really nicely. This particular haircut, we're going to be fading down. I like to fade down with comb overs because I think it has a smoother transition. And what I mean by fading down is we start with our highest guard and we fade down, as opposed to starting with our lowest length and fading up. So if the highest guard is a 4, we're going to start with a 4, we're going to go down to a 3. So that was a 4. We went down to a 3, making sure you go a little lower than the last time. Then with a 2, fading down, making sure you go a little lower than the last time. And you want to kind of rock outwards. Now we're going to create our first guideline, just so that we'll have a template of how high that first guideline should be faded out from. So now we put our 2 back on and make sure we do that fade down motion, going a little lower than the guard that we had on before. And the rocking motion is important. Now you see our 1.5 guard and we're fading down, making sure we're going a little lower than we did with the 2 guard. Making sure everything's a smooth transition. Now this haircut is always, you're going to always be going back and forth between guards, because you might need to clean something up. Now you see our 1 guard fading down, going a little lower than we did before, so that we don't knock out none of that 1.5 guard progress. And you're going to be adjusting that lever as such, back and forth. There's no particular way in order. Like I said, you just have to eyeball it. Now we're back to that 1.5 guard. We're going to be switching between these guards a lot, making sure there's a smooth transition from the top to the bottom. Now as you can see, we put our half guard on there. We're going a little lower than we did with our 1 guard, so we don't lose any of that 1 guard progress. And we're trying to tackle that first initial guideline that we created with the wall detailers. You're going to be adjusting that lever a lot throughout this haircut as well. And keep a comb in your left hand or your right hand, just so that you can make sure the hair is laid down, because this particular person is Korean and they have Korean hair, so it kind of sticks out of the pore like a blunt object. So now we're back to our 1 guard and we're cleaning up that space between that 2 guideline and that 1 guideline. Now this is our clipper with no guard on it, closed, cleaning up that first initial guideline that we created with our wall detailers. Making sure that blend is blurry. You always want to make sure that you have a blurry blend. That's important. If your blend ain't blurry, then what are you doing, baby? Alright, now we put our half guard back on there. The good thing about creating that second guideline with your clipper open is that you'll know how high you need to go up with the fade. Now what we went ahead and did is we're combing out the hair. Got to get the hair wet first. Don't be afraid to really get in there and get that hair wet. Wet it up as much as you need to wet it up, because we're about to do some scissor work. And now what you want to do is you want to start from the left side of the head, and depending on how much they want to be cut off, you're going to cut that off with the shears. And you want to make sure you use that guideline that you created with that first initial cut. So as you can see, I'm grabbing some of the hair that I just cut with the previous part, and I'm using that as a guideline so things won't be uneven. As you can see here, boom, use that as a guideline and use that part as a guideline as well. Cut the sides, make sure the sides are nice and even. Now, because this is a comb over, you want to style it as such and make sure everything blends into the fade on the side. So what I like doing is I like taking a special fade comb, and I like pulling the hair up and using my shears to blend in that top portion with that fade. This is my favorite part of the cut because I like making this part look extremely clean. And you have to sort of contour it to the customer's head. So I'm just adding some extra texture to his hair right now. As you can see, this particular customer's front part of his hair, his bang part, is going to be longer than the rest of his hair because he's going to style it like that. So now make sure you blow dry the hair. Don't get it too dry. Just blow dry it enough to where you can still use your clippers. So now what I'm doing is I'm separating that side piece so that we can get even more of a transition. Using our fade comb, combing that hair down and combing it back up, and using our shears to cut away the hairs that are hanging over and getting that nice blend. Now as you cut up, you want to move your comb in an upwards position so that you'll be cutting the hair as it goes into the fade. Keep that thing nice, smooth, and creamy. This part is important because it's going to show how well the fade is. Now this person did tell me that they wanted their bang portion to be a little shorter, so I'm going ahead and knocking down that bang a little bit. Now this bang is going to curl over to the right because he styles his hair to the right. So we're going to make sure everything looks nice and even when it's curved over to the right. You're going to style it as such as he would. And just clean up anything that you see in the fade. Give them a line up. Just clean that bad boy up. Line them up. But that's pretty much it, guys. Nice comb over, mid fade, blended.